Today I just want to give you guys a bit of an update on my Rover project. Now, it's been a while since I've posted on this and I've been doing quite a lot with it in the background. I've been doing a lot of testing on it with the Herelink, as well as the new firmware on that with Solex. However, I've also been putting quite a bit of time into printing some of the panels, and I want to give you guys an overview of where I'm at on it. Now, today I'm not going to really get involved in what's going on inside. I'm not going to show you too much of that. I'll do that in the next couple of videos, but I am going to take you through what I've been doing externally, and I'm also going to share with you then the STL files for it. So if you do have a Prowler Rover and you're looking to do some of the things that I've been doing, I'll make sure all the files are available for you guys as well. Now, one of the things with the Prowler Rover, if you haven't seen it before, it is basically comes as a kit with the motors, 2 ABS panels. The top panel is completely open, like that one is there, and then the bottom panel is sealed up. Now, you can swap these around. You can either have the open panel at the bottom or the open panel at the top. It's entirely your choice. The other downside to the design really is that everything is open on it, so all of the sides, everything apart from where the motors come through is open to the air for things to be able to get into. So what I've started doing is designing some panels to basically seal the unit up, as well as a whole new top section which is going to house the battery, as well as the GPS, the camera, and a couple of other things like that. Now, my design for this Rover is really going to be more of a reconnaissance Rover. It's not going to have a payload on board. It's really going to be a wireless camera. The idea is for it to be a small portable Rover that gets into a location. I can be able to see what's going on and then drive it back out if I need to. Now, whenever you do something like this, it does become a process of trial and elimination, and that is why I have all of this here next to me, because this is the process that got me to where I am today, getting it in the design that I want it. And it is never straightforward, and it does take a little bit of time. So what we're going to do is take a walk around what I've actually done. The first thing we're going to show you guys is the sides, because the sides on the Rover is completely open when you get it. Now, the way I've done this is I've designed some panels that clip in behind the motor brackets on either side, and then they simply screw in the center to the main bracket that's located behind it. Now, one thing I did actually do is put a bit of black insulation tape down the middle behind the seam, because the bracket behind is silver and it was just annoying me because it stood out like a sore thumb. But for the side panels, it's really as straightforward as that. They're just some nice easy blank sides. It's simple as that panel there. Just to show you it on the other camera, it simply slides in. It has some notches in it to hold it in the correct position in the frame, and then it simply has a screw hole which goes into the center of the bracket, and it clips in nice and easily like that. And there are 4 of these, one on each corner, one on each side, sorry, left, right, and it simply makes sure that it's all sealed. Moving round to the back first of all. Now, I went through quite a few different designs for this. There are numbers of different panels here of different lengths and widths. There was originally a design like this, which was 2 lengths of panel, which would simply clip in and be 2 panels just like that. I then moved over to a design with 2 side panels with a center filler piece. Now, the reason I did that was I wanted to be able to change what I put in the panels, whether it put a light on board, LEDs or something like that. So I decided to have a filler section in the middle that not only held the side panels in, but actually allowed me to put stuff onto it. And I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. But the overall design for that is fairly straightforward. When you look at it, you've simply got the side panels, either side, on the front, and then the filler section in the middle, and I've simply then got a screw in the top and bottom and on either side which holds that in place. Now, flipping it round to the front, this is where I've tried to get a bit more interesting with it and actually use that filler piece to be able to do something and actually put a sensor into it. And in mine, I've put the TF Mini Plus range finding sensor, and I'm going to be using this for object avoidance on the front of the Rover. And the idea was, instead of having the solid plate, I've actually put it in as part of the main unit. Now, it took a few designs to be able to do this. That's one of them. That one's got smaller corners. It wasn't quite right. That one was just squared off. And like all of these things, it is a game of trial and error until you get it the way you want it. Now, the way I've got this clip together is as follows. You have the center section, which simply pulls out, and I've got the sensor in there, and it is simply showing in like that. You can see that it is held in place in the back and is simply pushed in. And then when you flip it round to the front, you can see that it sits flush with the front of the centerpiece, and it's just nicely installed that way, and it means that it's not sticking out, it's not going to get too damaged if I do drive it into something. Then the way the front panels are held on is simply clipped in place. They clip in behind the bracket, so to remove them you slide them back towards the center and pop them out, and what you've got is just some hooks on there which actually hook into the motor bracket and hold them in place on the one side. Now when I started designing this originally, I went through a few versions. Originally I just had some brackets, and the idea was on that I was going to simply screw them in place rather than actually clip them in, and that one simply went in like that and it then held in, but there was no support for it and it would actually just fall out. So in the end I moved over to this clip-in bracket method with these runners on it which keep it centered. So I simply now pop it in place there like that, lock it across, and then it can move here, but that then is held in place by the centerpiece which locks it in. So all I simply do is thread him through with a cable first of all, which isn't connected yet, so I'm just going to thread him through. We then take the centerpiece, pop him in, and then that then has two screws that go in the top, and that's what holds everything in place. So that's the reason I went for the design of that one, and again I will share the STLs for these later on. Now the next thing I've done is these little bits on the top here. Now if I take them out a second, flip it up, you can see on the top and the bottom of the Rover you've got open areas where the motors are, and this is for cooling, but it's also an area where stuff can get in. So when I was looking at what I was going to do with this, in the end I decided to add some vents, and I've 3D printed up these little vent holes, and the idea is that these will simply clip on the front just like that and just like that, and they then will drag in here into the front of the unit. That will then go down into the motors, it'll actually go through the frame, and my idea actually is going to be to block the back vents a little bit with a filler panel which I've done here, and then exhaust the air out the bottom, out the back. So it's going to come in at the top and out at the bottom at the back, and that's not only going to cool the motor controller on board, which is down here, it's then going to have a good amount of airflow over the motors as well, and it should stop some of the bigger debris getting in. I might put some gauze in it, just something to be able to catch some stuff as well, and then that will actually just help get airflow through. But it means I'm actually plugging those holes on the top, and again they're just simply two little brackets like that, and they're going to push in, and I'm just going to simply put a bit of glue on them to hold them in place, and that'll be them done. Now the final big thing that I've done on this is the top, and the idea for me with this Rover is to have it as a reconnaissance unit, as I've mentioned, but I also want to have a capability of being able to mount a Ronin onto it, and I'm going to make a couple of different tops for it as well. So I originally did it a 3D print design which is going to take the battery on board as well, keep the battery out of the main area of the Rover, but also have somewhere for the GPS to sit. There's also then going to be a screw-on section which is going to bolt on for the camera, the FPV camera, and then on top of the battery box at the back, you're then going to have the big LED light that I've got for it as well. Now, I originally tried to do this as one big 3D print, however, it didn't go particularly well. It ended up warping on the corners, and that then caused problems with it hitting the top as the head was moving around. Now, there are many reasons why that happened. If you do any 3D printing, there is always the opportunity for failure whenever you do it. And I decided after doing it that the part of the problem was the amount of shrinkage that I was getting in the PLA that I was using. But not only that, I decided it was probably a bit too big a part to print in one and risk failure. So the second version I designed of this was this one here. And I actually did it in two separate halves. Now this time it's printed in PETG, which for me works out a lot better. I've done it on my Prusa, and it's also got that new material looking on the top. It's that feature that they've added to their slicer that gives it sort of an industrial look. Now the way it works underneath is there is two parts to this part. If I give it a wobble, it simply has a clip-in section with a cover that goes over the top of the joint so it doesn't stand out quite as much, and it simply just slots together like that. And what happens then is the two parts support each other, and then this will then screw to the top of the Rover like that, and that then will give me my battery box on the back. We've got our slot here for the huge GPS, which I'm going to be using for the Pixhawk 2, or the Cube as I've got in it, and that will simply sit in the top just like that there. If I just show you that, that's going to go in just like that. And then I'm going to have the FPV camera on the front there as well. Now, to stop this bowing in the middle, I've actually printed this, which is a small standoff. And this standoff actually goes in the middle of the frame, because right in the middle of the Rover frame is another one of those screw holes and one of these mounting post holes. So this is actually perfectly printed to just sit in there like that. It's exactly the same height as the side panels. So when the part of the Rover goes on the top, it will then support it and it won't actually bow in the middle. And what I'll probably do is put a screw down in it just to prevent it moving around. And then for the back of it, I've just 3D printed this little filler panel, which goes on the back. And if I flip it up on the side, you can see that is sort of how it's going to look from there. And that's pretty much all of the progress I've done on the outside. Now, I do want to do another version of this as well, which does have a mounting post on it for me attaching my Ronin S. And that's something I'm going to work on a bit more time, but I do need to think a bit more about that one on a platform this small. Finally, what I've then got to do now is build the lid for the battery box, because that is where the battery's going to go. I've got my 4S there. It simply slots in like that. There's enough room to get the cable and XT60 down the side, and it's going to go in like that as well. And you're going to have your battery and then the box. And what I've actually done is there's some slots. I don't know if you can see them, but there are some slots along here, and there's going to be a battery strap that comes over the top, and that's what's going to hold the lid on the battery box, as well as hold the LED light on as well. Now, I've got quite a big LED light for this one. If I just grab it, it is hiding up here. It is this one here, and this is going to be mounted on the lid of the battery box. And it's going to be sitting just like that there, above the FPV camera to light up the area around the front of the Rover. Now, I was originally going to mount it down the front here like that, but it then gets in the way of the FPV camera. The other option I've got is to mount the light down here and then mount the FPV camera on top of the battery box. But for me, I would rather have the FPV camera up front on the side here and then have the light behind it, because it is a lot brighter, shining out all over the unit. Now, there are going to be a lot of other things I'm going to do with this over time as well, and I'm going to take you through doing that as well. I've got all the configuration to do on this. I've got to get the LiDAR sensor hooked up. I've got to get the rangefinder sensor hooked up, get all the GPS working, and I'm going to do the videos for that over the next coming weeks. But I did just want to show you where I'm at with it. Now, as I've said, I am going to release all of the STLs for this, and I'm going to make them available to you. So if you do have a Prowler Rover, if you like the designs, you'll be free to use them, no problem whatsoever. I'll be really interested to also see what else people do with this as well, this Rover. With the state the world is in at the moment, doing a lot more work on ground-based vehicles is a lot more realistic than doing anything in the air. Anyway, that is it for this update. If you've liked what you've seen, please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to get any of the bits for the Cube Autopilot, there's a link to 3DXR in the UK. They're my main dealer who helps me with all of the equipment when I need to get something. Please do check them out. If you have liked it, as I've said, please do like and share. Hit that bell to hit the notifications so you do know when we release any videos in the future as well. That's it. Thank you for watching, and I will release another video again soon.